When's the last time you bombed? Like bombed? Your most memorable bomb ever. I have one that I'll never forget.
Oof. I mean, I had a rough one last night. Just even last night. That's what's so grounding about stand-up comedy. You can be like hitting so well, but like I'd have to ask a couple to be bounced out of there. They would not shut up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and I kept trying to get off stage, and I'm like, I'm trying to set up this next comic so I can get off, and I had to bounce them. But I had this bomb where I got long story short, I've shared it on some podcasts before, but long story short, I did a corporate gig where they didn't like the material that I was doing, and they got me pulled off stage. I was supposed to do 45 minutes, and I did 12. That to me is a pretty freaking bad bomb.
And how did they get you off stage?
Yeah, what happened?
It was for a group of kids at this middle school.
Jeremiah.
Yep. And one of the teachers comes up in the middle. I think there's an emergency going on because he's running down, and he's like, all right, that's enough. All right, that's enough. You're done. And I was like, whoa, was that really the line that I just crossed there? Because I was telling kind of innocuous, like, innuendo type jokes. Something that you'd see in a PG movie like Shrek or something like that. Disney does it all the time. Pixar is so known for it. DreamWorks like sprinkles it everywhere, where I'm like, I can get away with this. This was a religious school that I was doing this corporate event for.
Oh my God.
And they shut it down. And I tried to dig myself out. I was like, no, I got this. I did 3 or 4 more minutes. They heard another word that they didn't like. And the manager in the back of the room, he goes, like, you're done. Like they got the manager involved, and I had to get off.
How far along in your comedy career was this? At the beginning, middle, or just like last week?
Yeah.
This was literally in 2022.
Wow.
Did they still pay you?
Yes, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. But I'm so competitive, it still felt like I took an L.
You did.
Yeah.
You did take like I remember.
Like it's not a good feeling. Like I'm like at the core of everything, you still want to put on a good show for the audience, but the kids were liking it, but the adults were like, this is too much. And I was like, I'm really not saying anything insane, but I think because it was a religious school, they were a little bit more hypersensitive with certain things.
I have a similar experience, except mine was at a college where like I'm probably a lot older than you. And I was just not, after you do a bunch of college, you're just over it. And I didn't want to do colleges anymore. And I remember, and all I was talking about, I just got engaged. So I'm talking about getting engaged. And I wasn't into them. They weren't into me. I remember a kid raising their hand in the back of the room. I go, yes. He goes, so when are you going to start being funny?
Yeesh.
And I go, you know what? You're right. And then I got through that show. I made them laugh the rest because I was just auto crew. But then I literally quit at NACA when a kid said they booked Eliza, and she goes, after we book Eliza, if we have enough money, we'll book you too. And I literally thought to myself, and this is when I was doing on TV, entertainment news and all that stuff. I literally said, my life is in a 17-year-old's hand. I can't let that ever happen.
Yeah.
So I'm letting a 17-year-old decide my value. And I said, I quit right on the spot.
Wow.
So that was my big moment where it's like, no, I'm not doing colleges. I'm doing real comedy now. Like just comedy clubs.
I've got a Nightmare NACA story.
Oh, please tell. Please tell.
So when I was doing this music duo with Pat Reagan, we were getting booked everywhere. It was I would play sax, he'd play guitar, and we would harmonize. It was very much like a Tenacious D kind of act.
Yeah.
And we were great. We had a lot of bits and a lot of sets that are still some of my best sets in comedy, because when you elevate comedy with music, it becomes something even bigger than a dude with a mic or a woman with a mic. It's just one of those things where it transcends the art form, where people are like, where can I see you next? This was incredible. Where if you get that doing stand up, then you really had to kill, like where people are like clamoring to see you. They want to see you again right after they just saw you. We did NACA, the big college convention, for those of you who aren't aware of this, where colleges come from all over to pick the different comedians and performers that they want to bring out with their school's money to their show, to their campus. We had a great set, and we were in our booth afterwards, and all these kids are coming up to us telling us that they're going to book us. They loved us. We blew up 100 inflatable saxophones to give out to these college kids with our stickers on it. We had trash bags full of saxophones that we were coming in and giving them out, and we booked 0 colleges.
Oh.
Zero. After multiple people told us to our face that they committed to us, and then the next day our agent's like, I don't know what happened. You got none.
Oh.
Wow.
And
no
and
feedback?
I didn't do NACA after that. I'm like, I'm good. Like
No.
Wait.
It's like why like when you're relying on college kids
Yeah, that's
to
tough.
determine your livelihood. I felt like I did something terribly wrong in my life where I got to this point.
I can't.
And some people thrive in it. Don't get me wrong. Some people make a killing with colleges, but me, just having the thought that a 17-year-old child,
That's not cool.
that to me, no, not
I
at all.
did a corporate gig yesterday and the day before, and I thought I was bombing it. It was 7,000 car dealers.
Oh.
So picture
my
just
goodness.
a room of 7,000 like dudes and like 10 women. And I could not get them until I started roasting them. Like until I just started kind of really talking shit about the company.
No, that's what it is.
It was like that was the, and then they came up, they're like, oh yeah, you're kind of funny. And I was just like, oh my God. I mean,
Well, that's the thing. That's what I love about Jeremiah is the crowd work, because the crowd work.
yeah.
One thing I know about Joe Coy is I toured with him for 2 years. The audience feels like they see a different show every show as long as you do a lot of crowd work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can have the
Well,
same material. Go ahead.
That's what I tell people who come see me over the weekend. I'm like, if you want to see 2 shows, you're more than welcome to, because they're going to be different. Like I go in and out of material, and I'll be riffing with the crowd and doing crowd work and different stuff. Every show is very different from the next. The material might be a little bit of the same, but I even try to slide out different material over the weekend just in case somebody wants to see a couple of shows.
Okay, an hour set. How much crowd work do you think, minute-wise, do you do in an hour set? Or 45 minutes?
It depends. I always do the hour when I go on the road. I'll have like the host do 10 and then the feature will do 20, and then I'll close out with an hour.
Yeah.
When I'm doing that, it all depends on how silly the crowd is and how willing they are to go with my silliness.
Yes.
If I'm feeling it, I might riff for a long chunk of the set. But if it's more of a traditional crowd, it might be more like a 45-15 or a 50-10
Got you.
crowd work to material.
But
the material will outweigh it when they're not like, when they're more like, we just want jokes. I'm like, okay, I got jokes. That's fine.
Yeah.